psychological perspective of the self focuses on the representation of an individual based on his her experience. These experiences are either from home, school, and other groups, organizations, or affiliations he and she engage in. Seemingly, the self is one of the most heavily researched areas in social and personality psychology. The psychological, ito ang salitang psychological o psychological sa wikang Ingles ay isang pangpuri ng ibig sabihin ay may kaugnayan sa pag-iisip ng isang tao at kung paano ito nakakaapekto sa pagkilos ng isang individual. Ito ay kaugnay sa estadong pang-emosyonal ng isang tao. Pwede rin ito ay tumutukoy sa mga pagkakaroon ng sakit mula sa panic attack at hyperventilation. Kung hindi dahil sa isang pisikal na sakit ang dahilan, basta may espiritu kung saan ang pag-uugali at pag-iisip ng tao ay kaugnay. Siguraduhin may psychological na component ito. Next is cognitive construction. Cognitive construction is a cognitive approach that focuses on the mental processes rather than observable behavior. This approach will assess individuals in assimilating new information to their existing knowledge and will enable to make the appropriate medication to their existing intellectual framework to accommodate their new information. Cognitive construction is this having complex of means that we have a lot of different ways of thinking about ourselves. Example, imagine a woman whose self-concept contains the social identities of student, girlfriend, daughter, psychological student, and tennis player who has encountered a wide variety of life experiences. This is the example of cognitive construction. The next is material self. Material self consists of things that belong to us or that we belong to. Material self, according to William James, pertains to the objects, places, or even people which have the level, mind. Such positions are viewed as extensions of individuals. Identities, for example, instant, your clothes reflect certain aspect of your personality and you designate them as my wardrobe. That is example of material self. Next is social self. Social self or selves who we are in a given situation. Social self, the concept of the looking glass. Self states that part of how we see ourselves comes from our perception of how others see us. We might feel that we have a great sense of humor. For example, because others have told us an awful lot, apparently sincerely, at our jokes. That is belong to social self. The next is spiritual self. Spiritual self is who we are at our core. Kung sino tayo. Spiritual self, for me it is the belief. It sets the foundation of one's action and it's really recognizable. Practice, it is the action which manifests the beliefs of the person and is observable. Religion, an organized group who believes and performs distinct religious and spiritual rituals. The spiritual self will be cohesed in its belief and practices that one believes echoed by one act. The next is global versus differentiated models. Number one is global self-esteem, aka real estate, is a personality variable that represents the way people generally feel about themselves. It is relatively time and situations. What is global self-esteem? Is the evolving component of self-knowledge. Generally, high self-esteem refers to favorable global evaluations of the self, and low self-esteem refers to unfavorable evaluation of the self. Example, in my early teens, I had low self-esteem and I craved attention. That is among global self-esteem. Next is state self-esteem, aka feelings of self-worth, refers to the temporary feelings or momentary emotional actions to positive and negative events we feel good or bad about ourselves during the situations or experiences. State self-esteem. Your self-esteem is how you feel about yourself. For example, if you have low self-esteem, you do not like yourself, you do not think that you are a valuable person, and therefore you do not behave confidently. Number three is domain-specific self-esteem, aka self-evaluations. Is focused on how people evaluate your various abilities and attributes. This is making distinctions or differentiation on how good or bad people are in specific physical attributes, abilities, and personal characteristics. Okay, domain-specific self-esteem that have five domains of self-perceptions for me. And this is the five domains of self-perception or global self-esteem. Scholastic ability, athletic competence, physical appearance, behavioral conduct, and social acceptance. Multiple versus united selves. Multiple selves are the capacities we are given as from multiple relationships. These are not discovered but created in our relationships with other people. Example of multiple selves. A street student gets along well with his teachers and parents, yet when he's with his friends, he habitually breaks the law. And this is another. During our break situation, an adolescent girl is professional and mature, but she is silly and awkward around boys and her age. Unified selves. As strongly pointed out in traditional psychology, emphasize that well-being comes when our personality dynamics are congruent, cohesive, and consistent. Okay, unified selves. This is my example about unified selves. Would be yourself, another would be myself. Nothing that there is only one self and is nobody's property. In the self, there is no plurality and diversity. The self is what we were when stop thinking. Another name for that self is reality, or the truth, the thing, and it matters little. You know, the thing by being not by name or concept or method thinking distorts the image of the self, making it personal, which is false. Self as proactive and agentic. Agent self. The agent self is known as the executive function that allows for action. The agent self resides over how individuals make choices and utilize or control everything that involves decisions, making, self-control, taking charge in situation, and actively responding. Agent self. Example, like family, is the first agent of socialization. Mothers and fathers siblings, and grandparents, plus members of an extended family, all teach a child what he or she needs to know. For example, we show the child how to use objects such as clothes, computers, eating utensils, books, and lights. Human agency is not a thing but an active process of exploring, manipulating, and influencing the environment in order to attain desired outcomes. According to Albert Bandura, the core features of human agency are intentionally, acts a person performs intentionally, forethought, seeking goals, anticipation of outcomes, actions, selection of behaviors to produce desired outcomes and avoiding undesirable ones. Self-reactiveness, monitoring progress and toward fulfilling, choice, and self-reflectiveness. That is human agency. Example, human agency. Agency is constructed by objects reaching to natural forces involving only unthinking deterministic processes. In this aspect, agency is substantially distinct from the concept of free will. The philosophical doctrine that our choices are mostly product of casual change. Human agency entails the claim that humans do in fact make decisions and stamp them on the world. The last is self-efficacy. Lies in the center of Bandura's social cognitive theory. It is the measure of one's ability to complete goals. People with high self-efficacy often are eager to accept challenges because they believe they can overcome them. When people with low self-efficacy may avoid challenges or believe experiences are more challenging than they actually are. The self-efficacy refers to your beliefs in your own ability to control your motivation and behavior. For example, a student who has a high level of self-efficacy in mathematics will feel confident in their ability to do well in a statistic class. That's all, and there's a lot of lesson that I learned in psychological perspective. I can manage my own personal experiences about my life, and for me, the psychological perspective is me, myself, and I. That's all. Thank you.